Hi guys, welcome to Adan's Corner. Today I would like to talk to you about ocean plastic pollution. We know our oceans and coastlines are choking on plastic. We've all seen plastic bags, food wrappers, and plastic bags pollution in beaches. We've all been horrified by the stories of marine creatures like seabirds and whales starving when their stomachs become packed full of plastic. But how does plastic get into the ocean in the first place? To answer this, I would like to introduce you to this very cool scientist named Laurent Leberton. He is a New Zealand oceanographer, which is kind of a scientist who studies oceans. In 2017, he wrote a paper titled River Plastic Emissions to the World's Oceans. It was published in a scientific journal called Nature. He discovered that 80% of plastic in our ocean is from land sources, and there are many ways of plastic to get in the ocean from land. One way is when plastic waste is collected and transported to landfill sites. When trucks are not properly sealed, plastic is at risk of escaping into the environment. Even when it's in landfills, plastic is at risk of blowing away and ending up in rivers or ocean. Another way that plastic gets in the ocean is by littering. Littering is common in places where good waste management systems are lacking. People tend to simply drop or leave garbage behind on streets or in the environment. These plastic items can be carried by wind or rain into our drainage that they flow into the sea. In his research, Lauren discovered that garbage coming from boats and big ships is responsible for almost half of the pollution found in the North Pacific garbage patch. But his biggest discovery is that careless and improper waste disposal into the rivers are the main source of plastic being carried in the ocean. Another scientist from the University of Georgia, named Jenna Jambeck, concludes the same thing. Jenna says that the ocean receives about 13 million tons of plastic each year, and this amount could grow to 17 million tons per year by 2025. In her research, she discovered that most of plastic pollution in the seas coming from Asia, in particular from countries such as China, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. But regardless of what continent throws the most garbage, the bottom line is us, people. Whether we mean to litter or not, there is always a chance of plastic we throw away could make it into the sea. Well, why is it bad to have plastic in the ocean? Although plastic doesn't degrade, scientists discovered that plastic breaks down into microplastics, which can be small as a millimeter. The effects of microplastics on humans' health are still not well understood, but there's growing evidence that can harm the animals that ingest them. In fact, more than 1 million animals die each year due to mistaking plastic for food. So what can be done to help solve this ocean plastic pollution? Okay, let's face it, plastic is amazingly versatile. It is the basis for a wide range of materials, from styrofoam to polyester, to PVC, to synthetic rubber. It's used in our cell phones, eyeglasses, housewares, and even my Beyblades. Plastic is pretty amazing. It could be delicate and bendable like a saran wrap, and yet it could be tough and bulletproof like a Kevlar. Most importantly, it's cheap to produce. Unfortunately, scientists have still not found an adequate replacement for plastic that would be biodegradable, which not being too expensive. So the challenge for the scientists of today is to invent something that acts like plastic but is biodegradable and cheap to make. So while scientists are working on that, governments of all countries have to come together and talk about plastic pollution at the global level. Luckily, politicians are starting to notice. On June 9, 2018, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, and the European Union adopted the Ocean Plastics Charter to demonstrate their commitment to take concrete and ambitious actions to address the problem. But while the charter is a great start, what was talked about were mostly voluntarily and did not end up being written as law. Although several countries have announced plans to phase out all single-use plastics over the decade. Banning single-use plastic will not be enough to combat larger sources of pollution. The government must also put pressure on companies to encourage them to take greater responsibility for things that they produce and sell to consumers. To end ocean plastics, we need corporations to reduce the amount of single-use plastic they are. Starting to cut down on the plastic that is thrown away in the first place, those companies that choose to sell sustainable alternatives to help reduce the amount of plastics in our everyday lives must be encouraged and supported. The internet is full of resources to help consumers to address their plastic consumption at home in an effort to reduce the amount of products we use every day. If ocean plastic pollution is a big global problem, how can we as individuals help solve ocean plastic pollution? Environmentalists suggest to gradually incorporate changes into our daily lives rather than overloading ourselves and becoming overwhelmed or discouraged. Pro-environmental behavior includes the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. We can reduce with everyday habits by avoiding single-use plastics such as straws, plates, or disposable cutlery. When shopping, remember to take a fabric bag, don't throw away chewing gum on the ground, buy more food in bulk and fewer in packaged products, replace plastic Tupperware with glass or stainless steel containers, buy products made of biodegradable materials, and the most important thing of all is to remember that understanding is empowering. Let your family and friends know about ocean plastic pollution and share your ideas on how to start cutting the plastic in your life. Remember, big changes start with small steps, and we all have the power to make a difference. Once again, I am Adan. Thanks for watching.